All right. Hello there and welcome to another video uh, for Drupal X GSoC. A great typo in my own title. Google Summer of Code X GSoC will change to that. Now, welcome to week 10. This week is where we did the first release. So in our first release, we just bottled up the version and sent it across. So now if we go to our main page, ARCP generator, you should find this release, beta release one. Basically, we are just going with a beta release so that it can be tested further. And we had a few changes to make after that. We have gotten that. Now I'm going to tell you how to get this here. So let's just go to the blog. The blog contains detailed information on how you could do that. As it also did, you could also use this official documentation that we have here for creating a project release. This also has more or less the same thing, but this is my version about how I went through this. And covering up first, we have a final quality checks and a green pipeline. So first, make sure that your pipeline is green. All of your test cases are checking out and there are no errors because that will be super useful while releasing a pipeline. And once it's done and your input YAML file is verified, it will be pretty good. Now here you can see that the core version requirement has a 12, but here what I show you that quite didn't have a 12. This is because this image is of a later date where I also added the D12 dependency and I haven't created the release after that. That everything will come in the next better release, hopefully. But yeah, just cross verify that once and check out everything. After that, let's prepare the channel log and release notes. Now, this will be super useful, especially when you have a huge project. A lot of people are using that. And after you have your first a couple of major releases, people might want to differentiate, hey, what is the difference between the first channel release and the second release? And where there are multiple maintainers, this is super useful. But since I was the only person working on this module and it is still in beta, I skipped this. After that, we have tagging. Now, this is super important. This is like one of the two main steps that you will actually have to do apart from checking. So first, we just create a tag that is beta one. You can see the types of releases. You have, let's go through it. We have the development release, we have the security update, bug fixes, and new releases. Apart from that, we also have some of the release naming conventions. Okay, so on naming convention, yeah. So let me explain you how this naming convention is actually. So once you make a branch, this is your main dev release branch. That is basically where people are contributing mainly. Super important that we have that, or even right now. So if you just go to our source code, you should see that branch does exist. Yay! That branch does exist. So that is super useful in yeah the version control and is the correct we watched. Yep. Now, the release tags in modern Drupal projects follow the pattern major, minor, and patch. So, major is basically if there's a very pretty big improvement. Minor is if there are a couple of small changes. And patch is basically if there are a couple of bug fixes or small important changes that need to be done. That is something called a patch. Drupal 8 has a different naming convention, but we are not diving deep into that. We could also have a prefix release, something that we have used that is the alpha or beta or RC. Now, let us go across what is alpha, beta, and RC. We also have the documentation about that. Here, alpha means that a target audience wants to participate in testing, debugging, and development of the project. Most reported errors are resolved. They may still be serious outstanding issues or intrinsic security updates. The project is not thoroughly tested, so there may also be many unknown bugs. Also, the API and DB may be unstable. So basically, you got a bit of loose testing, but it is a way of testing. The beta is the target audience is same as alpha, plus the developers of other projects that interface with the project. Maybe on some production sites or the site administrator knows the project well, how to handle outstanding issues, all critical data and security loss bugs are resolved. So basically, this testing, like we have called alpha beta testing. So in alpha, we resolve the major bugs, but there still be some bugs. Beta is the more towards end to end testing. It offers an API with that should be considered frozen, so that those API can start upgrading their projects. So this is an upgrade or update of a project that should be offered. So basically, there is one update hook in database that is used for this in Drupal that is covered in beta, and all the documentation should be up to date. Now, RC is a release candidate. So when you tag a GitHub branch or a particular part in GitHub code as RC, it means that it is ready to be released. We are just before an final release, we are using RC. That is yeah most about it. And the feature branches you can go across this, but I did explain you overall what it is more or less. Oops. In yep. So once we have done that, we need to go on config chef and in the releases section. Okay. So how do you tag? I mean, so for tagging, as I showed you, you can definitely use this command line interface and push that. Do note, you need to be on your main branch for this, not on any other branches. That is that. Now I'll show you this section. So that is first step, tagging something, and your second step will go into the project, or you can also natively add a new tag as well here. Even that works. You can just create tag and where it is from, and something like that you can do it. All right. So now going on to the second major thing. Now let's say if I had to create another tag, because I don't think so tags are deletable. Oops, my screen has so yeah, it is loading the edit button. Yeah, loaded. So will go to releases. In releases, we have our current beta series that is going on, and we can have save, or we can just add new release. In our new release, you will have to select the release tag. So if you do put a release tag up here, it can come across. Most probably tags cannot be deleted, but check that out. Can GitLab tags be deleted? Oh no, GitLab tags can be deleted to web and user interface. However, if you start interface or something like that. So even that can be used. If you want to delete something, that can also be used. So yeah, that is more about it, and you might have a bit of more features for that. All right. So this is recording. Yeah. So let me quickly show the CLI way of creating something. So I can say this is a temp tag. Uh, Create a tag. We have created the temporary tag. Tag is basically hey, a hook. So I'm tagging this version of code at this point of time as a tag. Now if I just come here, refresh it, and I shouldn't find exactly the tag because the tag is labeled wrong. Okay, so maybe I go here, I can say, hey, delete my tag. I do not need this tag, and we can go to a new tag, and I can mention it, hey, 1.0.1.0.0. Can mention it beta 2. Makes sense? Now I do it. It will create a beta two tag, which can be used. It will now run an updated pipeline on that. Okay. While this is running, let us refresh this page. Hey, now your release information needs to have that. So basically, the from the yellow section, we have a green section that means next tag. So yeah, this tag has never been done. GitHub tag releases are permanent. Double check your release, review your issue queue, and there should be no security issues. Before clicking next, Git tag can be deleted or moved. It cannot be modified after clicking less the Git. If you notice a problem while making this tag, please version. Watch, what? Let us click next and release notes, save and preview. You can just submit it. Yeah. So this is more about it. Here, the release notes can be added of what you want to do, and then you say, "Hey, what type of release is this? Is this a security update? Does this include new features? Are there bug fixes here? And what is the short description?" Now, to show you what the short description is, we can have the AI recipe generator. What you see here is first meta. This is my short description. This is something that comes up here, and if you just click on this, it does show you what it requires and the release notes. The release notes are something that you are going to write here and the majority. So yeah, this is the entire picture of how releases are going to work. And if you just click on save, it will actually do it. Let me just quickly delete this because we are not going to be releasing a metadata right now. And yep, that should do it. And that is it. You could also, this process follows the same steps. And yeah, that is it. Thank you and catch you up later.